And we are live, and apologies for the technical difficulties, but when we're trying to get things done and we're having other people interrupt us, it makes it a little bit more of a challenge. But anyway, it's been quite a while since I've done a live stream, and you might notice it's not quite the normal setup. I haven't been paying for the subscription plan like I used to, so I still have I have the little StreamYard duck up in the corner instead of the Miniac logo. But welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the Miniac. This has not been one I don't usually do live streams. I haven't done them in a while, so I thought I'd start one up again just to see if there's any interest in doing it and give you a little bit of idea of what I've been working on, and naturally sit here and ask questions or answer questions if you guys have any Mini Cooper questions or whatever you might happen to have out there. So feel free to comment over here. I might try to see if I can get some of my Mini Cooper friends to pop in if they're not too busy right now. So, Gabriel, if you're watching, well, you don't own Mini Cooper anymore, but either way, if you're watching or if any other folks I know on Instagram are watching and they want to join me and chat cars or whatever, feel free to pop on in. But basically what I've been working on lately is I have been trying to add other cars to the channel, which hasn't gone over very well. And that's partly because I know absolutely nothing about a lot of these other cars. I know quite a bit about Mini Coopers, but when it comes to things like Ford Mustangs and wagons and other hatchbacks, stuff like that, I have to get my information and then kind of put things together. Plus, I don't have access to these cars as readily as I do Mini Coopers. So what I've been working on lately is starting to work on creating content that focuses more about on my Mini Cooper, on my JCW, and things like that, kind of give you an idea, I guess, of what's it like living with a Mini John Cooper works. So I've been working on videos like that or scripting them, and I'm going to start working on them this week if the weather holds out. Unfortunately, we're under a tornado watch right now, so that's a bit of a challenge. We will try to get to that at some point. But in the meantime, I'm working on that. I have some great video ideas. I'll be happy to get those done as soon as possible. If you saw the video that went up today, yes, that is a Mini Cooper SE that was done up like a GP3, kind of like the next gen Cup car, kind of just a cool looking take on an electric Mini. Does it improve the range in the car? Probably not, but it looked pretty cool, and the owner who bought the car really liked it. But anyway, I'm going to go over here and look at the comments. I got Braden Drake over here. Hi, watched some of your reviews this weekend. Bought a 2023 JCW of only 1,900 miles on Saturday. 1,900 miles? I got way more than that on mine. I got 2022 JCW. I just passed over 96,000 miles on my car. So that's a lot of driving for a very young car. But that happens when you're dealing with Mini Coopers and driving a lot. And I drive quite a bit, so it does happen. But yeah, as far as the mileage goes, that car must have barely been driven. It has 1,900 miles. Wow, that's impressive. You just switched from a BMW 230i, so I call that an upgrade. Now, was it a 230i that had the B48 in it? Because basically, you went from a rear-wheel drive Mini to a front-wheel drive Mini, and I guess you could call the 230i a rear-wheel drive Mini. I mean, it does have a B48 engine in it, so kind of works, kind of doesn't. I don't know, but I call that an upgrade. Good job on that. BMW 2 Series, interesting vehicle. The 2 Series Grand Coupe, it's basically a Mini Cooper with a BMW body on it, and I will defend that to the grave. I think it is. Now, if only Mini had kept the Clubman going, that would have been pretty impressive. What would the new Clubman have looked like? I guess we'll never know. But like I said, I've been working on some new video ideas. I've also been working on some wheel ideas for my car because I still keep thinking of new ways to spend money that I don't have. So there's that problem right there. And he just said, yeah, it was a 2024. This is my third Mini. I missed it. So welcome back to the Mini family, Braden. Glad you picked a new one. What color did you get? Since a 2023 JCW, it could be pretty much any color at this point. It could be yellow, it could be green, blue, it could be red, white, black. I think I've named all the colors that it comes in pretty much. So there's that. As for my JCW, it literally is one of 75 British Racing Green JCW F56 JCWs in the United States. So there is Not a lot of them out there. So if you want them, you have to. British Racing green, black stripes with the red trim, brown leather seats. How did you get? What country are you in? Because they don't offer British Racing green in the U.S., so you must be somewhere else, unless you got one of the rare ones. So that's incredible. San Diego, haha. So I don't know how you managed to pull Rebel green. Okay, dark green. Okay, it's Rebel green. That makes more sense. Okay, because the only British Racing greens were in 2022 model year, and it was only 75 of them shipped to the U.S. out of 740. So being able to get one of those is pretty rare. But yeah, Rebel green, pretty cool. San Diego, California, pretty warm. I'm sure the earthquake you had a couple weeks back was pretty nice, but you live in California, so I'm sure that's nothing compared to other places. We have tornado watches right now, so I'd rather take an earthquake over a tornado any day at this point. But anyway, been working, like I said, I've been working on other content for the channel. I've tried to create another channel called Did You Know Cars, and it's kind of not panned out the way I had hoped. And that's partly because, I don't know, it's interesting, it's not interesting. I tried doing a thing where I was roasting cars, and it didn't quite work out either. And that's because I am not funny. So I guess that's probably why it didn't work. But I've been trying to script videos as well and try to make it a little more interesting. But when Mini doesn't bring out a lot of stuff for you to review, like we don't have the Aceman here, we don't have the electric Mini, so I'm kind of limited on what cars I can actually do videos with. And that was an ant apparently crawling around on the desk. So hey, Sean, welcome to the live chat. All 5 of you are here, so there's 5 people, two of you interacting with me, so that makes a 3-way conversation here, just chatting it up. But definitely here to sit and have any conversations on Mini Coopers, offer my thoughts on anything. If you have a question related to the Mini brand or what's going on with the Mini brand, or talk about the new Minis, or even anything. I mean, literally anything. We could talk about any Mini Cooper, any car. I could offer my 2 cents on any car you want. If you really want, give me a car and I'll just tell you what I think about it. I mean, that's just kind of what I do. I've been around cars a lot with my job, so I get access to pretty much everything. So Braden is asking, if you take questions, my buddy said I should get wheel spacers. He's more of a car guy than me. Thoughts? Well, if you are using the stock wheel spacers, you have wheels. Your wheels are basically convex. So those are the spokes that bow out, and that's to clear the brake calipers. So you have a 54 offset wheel, which is basically so that it's tucked in. If you want those to stick out further and you don't want to do aftermarket wheels, you probably want to do a 10 to 12 millimeter spacer. If you do spacers, though, make sure you get longer bolts. Dynon, ECS Tuning, and Out Motoring all carry wheel spacers, and they also can carry the longer bolts. What I like about the Dynon spacers is they're easier to pop off the hub if they get seized onto them. And I also like the fact that they tell you what length of bolt to buy to fit through the wheel and the spacer. Now, if you have aftermarket wheels like OZs and you're going to put spacers on, you're going to have to measure the bolt that comes with those OZ wheels and then account for the length of the spacer or the width of the spacer as well, and then get all that right. So there's a bit of a challenge with that. But stock wheels, I'd probably go 10, 12. You could do 15 millimeter spacers on those cars. It doesn't hurt the car. I mean, the racing team uses them as well, but they also have a wheel stud conversion on their cars. But spacers wouldn't hurt the vehicle. If you don't want to go as dramatic as 10, 15, whatever, 5 millimeter spacers are a good way to start. And they're not horribly thick and they're not horribly expensive either. So you could do that if you really wanted to. And his mind is blown, and I'm not sure why. So is it because your friend thinks that wheel spacers are a bad thing, or is it because he thinks they're a good thing? So all depends. Now, if you don't want to do spacers, you want to do aftermarket wheels, New Speed and OZ make great wheels for Mini Coopers. OZ typically does 45 offset if you get an 18x8, and JCWs are going to have to get an 18x8 with a 45 offset. And if you're going to go New Speed, it's 40 offset, and they typically are 18x7.5 or 17x7.5. Sean Woods, starting to go down the path of brakes and rotors for my 2023 JCW, looking for OEM plus thoughts. The ones I bought from ECS Tuning, that I got from ECS Tuning, I did in the recent video, those were probably, JCW Clubman. Okay. Same scenario. I would still probably go and look at ECS Tuning for your brake rotors. Make sure they're the correct size. So before you order, make sure you know what size your rotors are, and then you order the corresponding ones. The ones I have in my car, they are dimpled and slotted, which they brake really, really well. But be prepared for, if you're going to use those, when you hit the brakes and slow the car down, you do hear kind of a shh sound as you're slowing the car, and that's just because you have the dimples and you have the slots in the brake pads, or when they hit the rotor are basically grinding, and there's these divots in the rotor, so it's making noise. It's a noisy brake, but it's not a terrible brake, and they actually work really well. I would probably look into that. And unless you're going to be using the car for track use, a regular daily driving brake pad is probably the best way to go with that as well. Braden just said, no, that was just a lot of info and kind of a foreign language to me. I'll watch it back and take notes. Thanks. Foreign language. I tend to talk fast, so I apologize. But if you're going to look for rotors, if you're going to look for wheel spacers, ECS Tuning or Dynan is probably the place you want to go if you want to get corresponding wheel bolts to go with them. ECS Tuning also carries wheel spacers, and Outmotoring also carries wheel spacers, and you can get corresponding wheel bolts accordingly. So things to consider. What years of Cooper have the A12? I don't know what an A12 is. Let me look that up. Mini Cooper A12. Mini A12. I don't know what the A12 is. Do you mean the N12? You're referring to the Cooper engine, the N12? Are you referring to... I don't know, Elton. I don't know what the A12 is, and I don't think the Classic Minis used an engine called N12. Okay, N12. If you are U.S. market, it would be yes. Okay, N12. Okay, so N12 would be the Cooper engine, and if it's U.S. market, it's 2007 for the Cooper hardtop. It's 2007 to 2010. If it's UK, it's 2006 to, I think, 2009. I think. Could be 10 as well. I'm not sure. That's for the Cooper. If it's the Clubman started in 2008, so it'd be 2008 as well to about 2010. 2011 in the US market is when they switched over to the N16, and I had a 2011 with the N16 motor in it, which was a slightly better engine, and it had a little bit more horsepower too, but I think it only had like 2 or 3 extra horsepower compared to the N12. So that was the upgrade aside from the cosmetic changes they made to the cars. But the N12 was at least 2007 to 2010 US market for the Cooper, and that was in the R55, that was in the R56, and that would have been the R57 convertible as well if you got the Cooper convertible. So yeah. Braden says, remember how I found you? I searched for Mini Nights Edition on here, one for sale in LA. I was going to drive up to buy it Saturday, but someone beat me to it. Yeah, the Nights Edition. I did a video on that car. I can't believe how long ago that was been. Long enough ago that I did it long enough ago that the pine tree that was in the video, that was in like the thumbnail for that video, is actually 4 times my height now, I think. So 3 or 4 times my height now. So it's a tall tree. It's a tall tree next to the Mini dealership now. So that's how long ago that video was, which means I did that video, I think, summer of 2022. And so apologies if my phone keeps buzzing. It just keeps setting off alarms. But anyway, so yeah, N12. There's your information on the N12. There's your information on the wheel spacers. There's your information on brakes and rotors and pads and everything. I'm working on some other stuff for my car. There's a part that ECS Tuning is going to be sending me at some point to do a video on, and I'm not going to give up too much information on it other than the fact that it is carbon fiber, and it's going to be pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to trying it out on my car when I finally do get it. Fiji Ace pops in. Hey, Miniac, love your channel. Thank you. So yeah, anyway, as far as I've been wanting to tell you all, I am working on some other content possibly, and it's going to be basically voiceover type review stuff of hatchbacks and wagons, just cars I happen to find interesting, but I might also add some other stuff in there. Like I really like the BMW M3 and even the M2, but I don't know about the current M3, but it looks better than the BMW 7 Series, so we can at least start.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Siri decided it wanted to have a conversation with me while I'm in the middle of a live stream. There's a new one. But I'm working on other stuff to add to the channel while I'm also working on stuff for my car, for my own car videos on my Mini Cooper. So especially while there's not a lot going on with Mini at the moment. Elton popped in and said, is the timing belt the only big problem on the N12? I have not heard of the timing. It's not a timing belt, it's a timing chain. I have not heard of the timing chain being a problem on the N12 and the N16 so much as I've heard it being a problem on the N14. The turbo engines tend to have from my view, tend to have more issues with the timing chain, but I have not seen it happen too much with the N12. That being said, N12 is an older engine now. Those cars stopped using the N12 in 2010 in the US market. So we're talking about a 15-year-old engine. So it couldn't hurt to possibly get it replaced if it needs a timing chain. There's ways you can tell. Usually the big one is if it starts making a lot of noise, and the even bigger one is when your engine goes boom. But I usually try to catch it before that happens. For the timing chain job, that tends to be the most expensive thing you could possibly do in your Mini Cooper. And I think I just saw lightning behind me. So, but yeah, that can be an expensive problem. If the car's been maintained properly and you've changed the oil regularly in it, it may not become as big of a problem. The issue was the timing chain combined with the 10,000 mile service interval on that particular engine, and the fact that people don't always check their oil. So the result was that car got starved of oil and the chain didn't have enough oil to keep it lubricated. And the result is your chain would stretch or even snap, or the guides would break because there's not enough oil in there. So kind of a multiple things here causing that engine to go just basically fail. And I've seen it happen a few times. I've had at least one Mini that we did replace the timing chain in, and it wasn't because it needed to be replaced. It was because we just decided we had the engine completely taken apart, and we decided we might as well replace the timing chain while the engine was completely open. That engine actually had a failed piston. The piston cylinder 3 actually broke. So we had to just replace all the pistons, and while the engine was completely disassembled, we decided to go ahead and do the timing chain too. And part of the timing chain job, it also includes the guides and everything. So it's a full kit that you can buy and you can do this. It is expensive if you have the dealership do it or a shop do it. And when you see what's involved in doing a timing chain job on a Mini, you understand why it can be so expensive and why that expense is justified. And in some instances, people have always asked me, why is it so expensive? And I say, well, watch them do it sometime, and then you'll know why. So there you go. But it can be a big problem if you're not paying attention. Just watch your car. If it starts to make those noises, it might be time to replace it. Maybe that's one of the things you want to save up for. If you're comfortable working on your own car, you could tackle it yourself if you really want to, or you could let the professionals do it if you're not comfortable with that. Me personally, I've made enough little errors with my car over the years that I've realized that it's probably best to let the professionals work on it and not try to fiddle with things on my car that I can't fix quickly in my driveway if I need to. And you've all seen some of my videos regarding those problems that have popped up over the past couple of years, especially the wheel bending, the damage of those, and the turbo. Oh, the turbo last year. That was fun. That was really fun. Yeah, I don't recommend that at all. So there you go. But yeah, so right now my JCW is also is going to possibly be in need of new tires. So working on that. I have been running Hankooks for at least going on a year now. And it might be time to go back to Continentals. And if you watch my recent video on the new speed wheels, you might see why I think it might be a good idea to go back to Continentals, because I just happened to I really like the Continental tires. I thought they were pretty good on my car, and they seem to last a long time. Now, most people swear by Michelins, and I've had Michelins before, and they have not lasted nearly as long as they should have. Part of that could be my driving style. Part of that could just be wear and tear. But they just didn't last as long as I wanted them to. So, we'll have to fix that at some point. But, anywho, I am trying to see if I can get one of my mini buddies here to pop in and join me on the live stream. I'll tell you what, I'm going to hit the invite link. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to send it to them. And whoever pops in, I'm going to add them to the live stream to see what happens. Fiji Ace, I had to have the charge port replaced on my 24 SE because the charge flap flaw with it not being water resistant. The Tech and Mini replaced it, but also ended up scratching my clear coat. Holy crap. I didn't know about that. That's a new one. So now I got to take my car back in to get the scratch fixed by them. Wow. I didn't know that was a flaw. That was an issue with that car. That's surprising. Sean Woods, Mitch works well for me. Michelin works well for me. I have a full set of Contis that only have 3,000 on them, but those didn't do well on my car for my driving style. Now, Sean, why was that? I always thought the Continentals did well. The reason that I had issues with the Michelins is the Michelins tended to not wear evenly enough for me. It seemed like they would start to get a little bit more out of wear or out of alignment almost, and it just really messed with the way the car handled. The car felt like it would vibrate more going on the road or be a little bit more bumpy, even if it was on a smooth road surface. I'm not sure why. They just didn't seem to wear as smoothly as the Continentals did. And the Continentals, I replaced them because I drove on them for quite a while, and it was time to replace them at that point. I think I put 50,000 miles on them before I finally had to replace them, which is a lot of tire wear. So never wore them. I never wear the tires down that low enough. For me, Sean Woods, for me, the Contis was too much roll when I went into higher speed turns. Now you have the JCW Clubman. Do you have the 18-inch wheels or the 19-inch wheels on that car? If you have the 18s, I want to say you have a 225/45 tires as stock. And if the 19s, I want to say it's a 225/40, I think. Could be like that. I'm not sure. Maybe a 225/30 or 235. I'm not sure. But VG8, wow. There is lightning out there. 19-inch wheels. So what are the tires for that car? Let's see, JCW Clubman tire size. Let's see. 2016 to 2019. For the 19-inch wheels, it is a 225/35/19. Okay. And that hasn't changed. So that's why you have a lower sidewall. You could try increasing the tread width, or you could try increasing the sidewall height, which could give you enough of a side. In my case, the stock tire size for my car is 205/40/18. The next size up that I used was 215/40/18, which is a much taller sidewall, a little bit taller sidewall, and helps a little bit with some of the roll. For my new wheels, the rally wheels I have on the car, the white ones, I went to a 215/45/19. Much taller tire, much taller sidewall. I think it's an over 26, almost a 26-inch tall tire. And I did that largely because Kansas City roads are horrible and potholes everywhere. So I didn't really want to do any damage to the car. So I went with a slightly taller sidewall. Now, I think you could probably get away with doing that on stock. If you're on the stock suspension, I'm not. I'm on coilovers. You could do a slightly taller sidewall. So you have it's a 225/35/19. You could do a 235/35/19 maybe, or you think even a 225/40/19. I think you could get away with it with the stock ride height, and that would probably give you a little bit taller sidewall that you might not have as much of a rollover as you would have on the stock size. Also depends on the tire. Some tires have a slightly stiffer sidewall than others. So There is that. You could have just a very soft tire, or it could also be a number of things. Continental also tends to measure their tires narrow. So a 215/40/18 in Continental and 215/40/18 in Michelin tend to look a little bit different, I think, depending on how they measure it. I always thought the Continentals ran a little on the narrow side, and I think it's because how they measure their tread width and everything. Fiji Ace, yep, there's a little switch that tells your car if the flap door is open and when you go to drive away, but the little switch is not water resistant. It's a known issue, and they haven't fixed the flaw yet. I hope they fix the flaw, because that sounds like a problem. Sounds like a big problem. Sounds like a problem that needs to be addressed. So we could probably get that resolved at some point. But that's something that needs to be fixed. I get that's an interesting car. That Cooper SE is a very interesting car. Now the new Cooper SE, that's a car I actually kind of wish they were going to bring to the US market, the J01. Unfortunately, it's not. And be right back. Going to go watch your special edition Mini's new video. Well, go take a look at that. That's the one. That's why I just put together that I managed to get enough footage or enough photos and enough information on the 3 cars. It wasn't enough to make it separate videos for each vehicle. It was the Bayswater, the Baker Street, and the Goodwood edition. And I didn't have enough information to make them individual videos. So I made it just one video. I just put them all in the same video. And I think it works rather well. And if it looks like my camera is moving, it's because I'm on my laptop. And my laptop is sliding off of the platform that it's currently sitting on. So if you see it sliding, it's because that's why. Sean Woods, I'm going to go ahead and just put your comments up. So Sean Woods, that was the case with the Continentals. The sidewall is a bit softer. I am interested in the Sport Contact 7s, but knowing me, I'll be getting the Michelin Pilot Sport 5s. Yep, that's probably what you'll end up doing. And if you follow Petrolped on YouTube, I think he's a big fan of Michelin. I'm a big fan of Continental. He likes Michelin's. I think he's even sponsored by Michelin, but I don't know. I like the Continentals. I don't always send my car as hard into corners as other people tend to as well. So maybe that's part of it. VG Ace, I ended up buying a tent for my charge port. Oh man, I want to go to Goodwood one of these days. That is such a cool looking track. They race classic minis. You ever done a video on any classic minis? I have done a video on a classic mini. And, whoops. I have done a video on a classic mini. I can find you the link real fast here. Let's see. But yes, I have done a video on a classic mini. So let me see. It was what was it? It was the open top edition. It was the British Open edition. British Open. There it is. There it is. Okay. It was the British Open edition, 1992 Rover Mini. And surprisingly, it has been buried back there for so freaking long. It's gotten 12,000 views. I'm a little impressed with myself there. But here you go. Here is the classic mini link. So I have done a video on that car, and it was a pretty impressive little classic Mini Cooper. So there you go. Now you have the link to that car. And now that's been buried back there so long, it's probably going to suddenly become a very popular video again, which would be great, actually. I would love that. I would just be thrilled if that happened. Wonder if I can get the mini vlog to join me. Hey, Nick, do you want to join me on the live stream? Let's see. Let me see if I can get Gabriel to join me. Gabriel? Maybe Gabe. Hey, Gabe, do you want to join me on a live stream? Question mark. In case you're wondering, Gabe is the host of Motoring File, and Nick is the host of the mini vlog. So I'm just checking in with either of them to see if they want to join me on the live stream and just hang out and talk. I could also see if I can get Ethan, maybe. Where's Ethan Jones? I would get Ethan, my friend Ethan, but he's busy right now. I think he was in New York looking at cars. Hey, do you want to get on the live stream with me? Question mark. So we'll see what happens. VG Ace popped up. Let's see. I will check it out. I am looking at buying an Austin Mini pickup. There's a guy I know in Kansas City who has an Austin Mini pickup, and he actually fully restored it and converted it to left-hand drive, converted it to left-hand drive because it was originally right-hand drive. So he also added, which is blasphemy in the Mini community, he put a Honda VTEC in it. So it's incredibly reliable now as well. So there's that. So, but anyway, I've been working, like I said, I've been working on video stuff, editing. We're at 24,114 subscribers now too. So that's pretty insane for this little channel of mine that I created so long ago. Can't believe it's literally been 7 years. It's been literally 7 years since I created this YouTube channel. So that's impressive. Sean Woods popped in. Love motoring file as well. By the way, you doing the Dragon this year? I will not be doing the Dragon this year. I do not have the money to do as much traveling. And that's partly because I will be going with I'll be going up to work with the racing team at not the Mini Cooper racing team. This is the Mustang one. So this is LEP Motorsports. I'll be helping them out at Road America with IMSA this year. So I had to pick what traveling I'm going to be doing. So that's the one I'm going to be going on instead. So Fiji Ace popped up. Yeah, Nick did a video about the puzzles that Mini sent out during COVID when there was a supply shortage. I recently found both of them and bought them. One of the puzzles was 5,000 pieces. Now that would be a puzzle worth building, I think. That'd be fun. VG Ace, it is a red Mini Cooper that is like 5 feet tall. 5 feet tall. Yep. That kind of describes any Mini Cooper, really, if it's 5 feet tall. I mean, even my Mini is about 5 feet tall. So there you have it. But yeah, I've been working on some other video ideas. Like I said, I've been working on other car ideas. I'm not sure what other vehicles to add to the channel. I have video stuff. I have video files ready to go to do some scripts for some Fiats, like Fiat 500s. I have some videos. There's a video I want to do on the Peugeot, excuse me, British people, the Peugeot. It's the Peugeot, I'm sorry. E208 GT, which is a little electric hatchback. Look kind of cool. I even have some stuff on the Volkswagens that I thought would be fun to do as well. Basically, I was scrambling all of last 3 weeks. I started working on scripts for this Did You Know Cars thing, and I had like literally 55 voiceovers recorded, ready to go. And I deleted them all and decided to start over from scratch because I wasn't happy with how they turned out, because I feel like I was trying to go a certain way with this stuff and it didn't quite work out. I don't know how to incorporate other cars onto this channel. This channel has been Mini Cooper for so long that it just becomes just like, how am I going to add other stuff to the channel? So it's kind of comes down to, well, I can focus on hatchbacks, hot hatches, and I can focus on wagons because they have hatches, so they're cool. Those would be cool. I could do that. I could add other fun cars in there, but I don't know what to do. I think I might start experimenting with other videos on the channel, and you just won't know about it because I'm going to probably set them to not notify subscribers that the videos have gone live, just so that it doesn't impact my content or my Mini Cooper content, because my primary audience is Mini Cooper people. And it's already kind of impressive that globally I have over 24,000 people that are Mini Cooper fans that subscribe to this channel. So that's pretty impressive. VG Ace popped up. Can you ever change the name of your channel or is that set forever? No, I can change the name of the channel, and I have considered it at one point, but I've been known as the Miniac for so long. Hold on a second. Gabe from Motoring File just chimed in. Spur of the moment live stream. Laugh out loud. But yeah, I have considered changing the name of the channel. I just haven't done it yet. I don't know if I'm going to. I've considered certain names. The Miniac's been named for a long time. Now there is another YouTube channel that goes by Miniac, and they do miniatures. So I obviously have a channel that they do miniatures. They started after me. Their channel started after me, and they have a lot more subscribers than I do. So I wonder if partly I get some traffic from people who are going to look for that channel, who find my channel, but there's a possibility there. I have considered some other things, given the fact that I have a number 74 in my car. I have considered a friend of mine suggested calling the channel Motor 74, which would fit with the Mini Cooper aesthetic to some degree. And effectively, it would seal my fate, meaning that every future car I own would have to have a number 74 on it, or it just wouldn't be as cool. So that's a possibility. I could do that, but I don't know if I'm going to do that yet. But yeah, I could change the name of the channel. I just haven't thought about doing that yet. And I've even considered, if anyone has seen some videos I put on the channel called the Miniac Auto Club, that was done intentionally because Auto Club fit in with the AC at the end of Miniac. So it just worked out. I could call the channel Miniac Auto Club. I could do that. Could call it Miniac Media. Could call it a lot of things. And Braden says, I'm a trademark attorney if you need a chat. I love the fact that I have a viewer here who's a trademark attorney. There we go. I don't think I can trademark Miniac. I have it listed as an LLC in Kansas, the Miniac LLC. So I do have it. I don't have it trademarked, but I do have it registered as an LLC. So there is that. So I guess I could, but I don't know. Plus, the other guy calls his channel the Miniac. There's so many. The weird thing is when you're trying to create a unique YouTube channel, there are, unless you are like really, really creative, there are so many YouTube channels that have literally the same name. Like when I was, can't at the moment, this may sound crazy, but I'm out with Kirk Cousins having dinner. I literally have no clue who that is, period, LOL. Kurt Cousins. Anyone know who Kurt Cousins is? I just talked to Gabe. He can't join me on the live stream. He's having dinner with someone named Kurt Cousins. And I don't know who that is. Oh, NFL quarterback. Okay. Okay, so Gabe Bridger from Motoring File is having dinner with Kurt Cousins, who's an NFL quarterback. So there you go. So as far as Mini Cooper stuff go, can you believe there's quite a few private YouTube channels that are Mini Cooper based. If you count the Miniac, the Mini Vlog, and Motoring File, I think we all have combined more subscribers than Mini USA. And that's pretty impressive. That means that we probably also share subscribers too. We probably share subscribers too, so there is that aspect of it as well. So I don't know. I could have one of you guys just join me on the live stream. We can just talk Mini Coopers. I have always wondered where Motoring File gets his info. He finds out stuff that none of us are privy to. Gabe finds out information that even I don't know. And I had an insider that worked at Plant Oxford at one point. I don't have him anymore. He quit a long time ago, and he didn't get fired. He just quit. But I had an insider, so I had inside info at one point. He has inside knowledge. He also has knowledge that he gets from Mini because he just has built a relationship with them over the years from Motoring File and from White Riff Radio. So he has that knowledge. As far as the Mini Vlog goes, Nick has a huge advantage over me. He has access literally to he lives in New York, so he can get to New Jersey, where the Mini headquarters is located for the U.S., a lot quicker than I can. So the East Coast people and West Coast people tend to get stuff a lot faster than the central United States, which means that's why it took me until last month, I think, to get a JCW hardtop to do a video with. That took forever. Same thing with the JCW Countryman. I had been trying to get a JCW Countryman since last year, and finally got access to one for a video, and finally got to do it and post it up for you all. So the likelihood of me getting another JCW Countryman to do a video on again is incredibly slim. Same thing with JCW hardtop. Those just don't happen very often. I literally would have to probably buy the car in order to do a video on it. As it is, like I said, I'm working on videos for with my own Mini, possibly to add content to the channel, just because I need something to add to the channel. And I want to keep doing Mini Cooper content, but I also want to add some other stuff. I mean, wagons are really cool. There's hot hatches out there. There's other cars I find interesting. Like I did a voiceover that I'm going to be making to a video for the 2019 Mustang Bullet. I don't know if I'm going to put it on the Miniac or I'm going to put it on the other channel, or I may put it on the Miniac and just not let my subscribers know that it's there. But I worked on that along with 2 short videos for it. And there's interesting stuff about that car that's just really surprising, like reasons for certain color combinations, reasons why they do certain things. And it got me interested in this idea of like I could create videos on like Mini already has quirky facts. How would you like to hear quirky facts? How would you like to hear quirky facts about like other cars? Like just weird stuff, like the fact, like an example, like the BMW iX, the fact that the front grille is not really a grille. It's like it also made like a self-healing plastic. So you expose it to heat and any scratch in it just goes away. Or here's one, like the sound that like if you ever driven a Bullet Mustang, and if Matt Moran is watching, he might remember this because he had a Bullet Mustang. The exhaust note you're hearing inside the car is not the same exhaust note that you're hearing outside the car. They actually created a synthesized exhaust note to sound like the 1968 Mustang from Bullet. So stuff like that's kind of cool. It could be interesting. Let's see here. Braden, basic question. My last Mini would auto tilt the passenger mirror in reverse. Helpful since I parallel park every day. Can't find it in the settings on the new one. Possible it doesn't have it. It's possible it doesn't have it. You said you had a 2023. Get Beamer code. Oh, wait. Do you have the little no, you should have that. You should have the little toggle switch on your door next to the mirror controls. You should still have it. If you don't, you should still have it. But if you notice that it dips down a little too far, you can go into Beamer code and you can actually change the settings to make it dip down only halfway. I actually changed mine to dip down only halfway, so now I can actually see the back corner of my car, and I can parallel park a lot easier than I used to, because I'm one of those random people who still has I'm one of those weird people who, even though I have a reverse camera with little lines telling me where I'm going, I still look at the mirrors and still look out back when I back up my car. So that's a weird one. VGA, Steve McQueen tried to track down his original Mustang after Bullet. The story goes that a family got it and they never sold it back to Steve McQueen. I might be off on some of the details. I think I heard that story too. VG Ace. It might be the little switch on the driver's side. Yep, it's there. Yeah, toggle the switch to the right. VG Ace, yes, the toggle. If you switch it, then it will auto move down. Thanks, team. I hadn't Googled it yet. Figured y'all could save me some time. Yep, there you go. You have a nice little chain of comments to find it. So that worked out for you. But yeah, there's just random stuff like that. There was some cool stuff I was just learning about these cars. Here's a good one, actually. The BMW, the new G80 and G82 M3, M4. There's more to the reason for that massive grille than just styling. I mean, yes, it looks big, but the reason behind it was more to do with cooling than it had to do with completely looks necessarily. They had to get a lot of air into that grille, and they thought, well, if we're going to put this kidney grille here, why don't we just extend it all the way down, and then we can bring in even more air into the front of the car. So it was really done as a performance thing to improve the airflow into the engine. Now, the result is it looks like a snorkel, but there's always a reason behind everything, every design choice, the way they do that stuff. So I learned that recently, and I was like, oh, now that suddenly makes sense, and now that explains why it looks the way it does. And if I am clearing my throat a lot, it's because it's allergy season. I've been on a dealership lot, and every single car was covered in yellow pollen. So if I'm clearing my throat a lot, I apologize, but it happens. So, but anyway, I have been like I said, I've been working on ideas for other videos. We'll see how those do. You've seen a few on my channel already. The Ford Focus RS, I actually like that car. So that was why I put that one on there. I've been trying the Did You Know car stuff. If you haven't noticed, the Roadster video, the Coupe video, those were all ones I was testing that stuff out to see if it would work. Some of them are hits, some of them are misses. On my other channel, the Did You Know Cars, where I was testing this stuff out, because because that channel is not well known, obviously, it has done horribly. I had a video over there that I spent a lot of time working on for the Rolls-Royce Ghost, and last I checked, it still has 0 views. So doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad video. It just means that it's quite possible there might be too much out there. It tends to happen with YouTube, especially if you've done it for this long, that you either are start to circle back around and rehash old ideas, or you're doing videos now that other people might have already done. So I'm working on a video for the Mustang Bullet. Someone else might have already done that. I did a video on the JCW hardtop. There's a bigger channel out there that has done bigger channels out there have done videos on JCW hardtops. They get a lot more views than I do. The chances of me getting the same amount of views is very slim. Now, I think my video was very good. I think it was fun. I really enjoyed it until that guy cut me off after I was coming off the on-ramp. So there was that. So I got to really test out the new JCW brakes, and surprisingly, they stopped very nicely with a little bit of a drift, but it happens. The car did well, so there is that. But as far as the other YouTubers go, they have a little bit more access to these things than I do. So I guess me being a small YouTuber makes it a little bit more of a challenge when it comes to video stuff. So I've been finding that voiceover videos tend to be a little bit easier to do on those instances, because I can get press footage, I can write a script, and I can put them together, and then you get my take on a car, or you get my take plus any other facts and figures I happen to find on a vehicle. Let me give you an example. I'm going to show you, before I read Fiji Ace's comment, I'm going to give you one random fact about the here's one for you for the all right, Mustang Bullet. So here's one for you. This is the Ford Mustang Bullet. This is fact 1. Unique intake manifold only found here until later. Ford fitted the Bullet's 5.0-liter V8 with a unique intake manifold borrowed from the GT350, but tweaked specifically for this car. It gave the Bullet a slight power bump over the regular GT, up to 480 horsepower, but here's the kicker. At launch, the Bullet was the only way to get to this part unless you were buying a Shelby. Later, Ford quietly added a similar intake to other models, but early Bullet buyers had something truly special. So there you go. I mean, there's a fact that is part of that video I've been working on, but it's kind of neat to kind of get these facts on these different vehicles and put them into these videos and figure out that there's something really interesting going on behind this. There's a story going on behind the car. Yes, everyone may have used the same footage that I'm using, but not everybody may be telling the same story that I'm telling. So we'll see what happens. Fiji Ace popped up with a comment. I started looking at those Goodwood Classic Mini videos, and after a while, YouTube started suggesting Japanese Classic Mini videos. They really keep their minis clean. Yep, there you go. Spicy topic, no shade. When my car was in the shop, I got to drive the new two-door hardtop in the Countryman, and I found myself saying the following comment. It's nice, but... Okay, well, Sean, you can either tell me your comment. You can either tell me your comment you can either tell me your thoughts in the comments down here, or I may actually send you the link, and I'm going to have you join me on the live stream and talk to me directly about your thoughts on the car. So there is that distinct possibility you could end up in here talking with me. So I could get your facts on your thoughts on the vehicle. There's things that I have views on the vehicle, but I can't always say what I think necessarily. I don't hate the car at all. I think it's a great car. I think there's things they could have done just a little bit differently. They kind of tweaked some things that needed to be tweaked. They tweaked some things that needed to be tweaked, but they also tweaked some things I think they could have left alone. The styling, I think, looks different. I think looks better. Not everybody likes the taillights. I kind of don't mind them too much. My only real complaint with the car is the fact they got rid of the manual. That's my big thing. They got rid of the manual. If they had kept the manual, I would have liked the manual. I would have liked it even more. Braden said, I test drove one. The fabric or whatever on the doors and dash really bugged me. I've got some weird sensory stuff. I get that. I can understand that. But otherwise, I like the minimal aesthetic. Fun fact on that, and I'll get back to you on that comment shortly. It's refreshed, but the outside styling is too much. How is the outside styling too much? Some people have been saying the outside styling, outside styling, I can't even talk. Some people have said the outside styling isn't enough. But let's see. The tech is kind of cool, but the layout was wonky. Fiji Ace, I would like them to add a central control station in between the seats like my F56 has. Okay, I get that. Okay. Minimal. You mentioned minimal aesthetic. There's the key word right there, minimal. Fun fact, and I learned this recently, the name Mini has absolutely nothing to do with the size of the car. Not even back in 1959. It had nothing to do with the size of the car. It had to do with minimalism and the lack of things, what things you didn't have. Because here was the thing about the car. This was during the oil crisis in the 1950s in England or in the UK. And the idea behind the car was create a vehicle that has everything you need, an engine, drivetrain, so have all that, and enough seats for 4 people. It didn't say anything else there. So the car was basically the essence of a car. It was everything you needed and nothing you didn't, which is why it did well. And it became very popular. And it also turned out to be a car you could toss around a road circuit and have a lot of fun with, which is why John Cooper turned it into a rally car and a race car. It did really well in that. But it was basically a minimalist car. So with Mini's current design language, they have kind of harkened back to that minimalist aesthetic, that kind of minimal, everything is there, everything's concealed. So there's like, instead of like all the extra switches and dash panels and everything that you see in the F cars, it's clean, very tidy. Every time I get into one of the newer cars, I always think it looks very sparse, very kind of minimal, basically. So that's basically what they were doing. And they basically, when they harken back to the original car, and you can see the details, it's very clean, very tidy, very unadorned, as it were. And one of those things that in the car that I also noticed, if you look carefully, if you look at the front of the car and you compare it to the R56, the headlight placement is almost identical. The headlight placement being up high and tilted forward a little bit, it almost looks like the same face, which is kind of a cool feature if you really take a close look at it. So Sean Woods, it's refreshed, but the outside styling is too much. Sean Woods, the tech is okay. We already went through there. So what is here? I actually love the Audi TT. How's there's no screen in the middle, just the virtual cockpit? I'd kind of like that direction. Okay. Look at the classic Mini with the Honda engine swap. Giles Chapman wrote a book in 2019 about the 60 years of Mini. It is pretty good book about the complete history of the car. I have that book. In fact, I have 2 of those books. One of them sitting on my bookshelf. The other one I have not gone through in a while. I probably should read it. Maybe we'll do a live stream. What I will sit here and read you the book, the 60 years of Mini. That would be funny. No, I'd have to get like not James Earl Jones. I'd have to get like Morgan Freeman or something to read the book for me. That'd be funny. But yeah, that'd be funny. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's other things in the Mini community that there's other things in the Mini design that's really interesting. The thing about most people are going to talk about the brakes on the new JCW and why they went to a single piston. You'll notice that because they went to a single piston, you have a lot more choices on wheels. So there's that. But part of it had to do with overkill. And that's basically they had put 4-piston Brembos on the car. They made the brakes so strong. They made the brakes so strong they made the brakes really, really strong. The result was the car literally stops on a dime. I mean, it really does. The problem is you also are limited on what brakes or what wheels you can put on the car. But they were overkill. Now, there's only one situation I can think of where 4-piston calipers make a lot of sense, and that's on a race car configuration. And when the JCW racing team had originally built their cars, those cars were JCW packaged Cooper S's. So they had the Cooper S brakes. And originally, IMSA wouldn't let them switch to the JCW brakes. They had to run the standard Cooper S single piston. Well, I think apparently the cars went off the track a few too many times where before IMSA finally said, okay, put the 4-piston Brembos on the car, because they were tired of seeing the Mini slide off the track, because you heat up those brakes, you got nothing left. So they ended up having to put them on the car. So that's why when you look at the JCWs on the Mini JCW team cars, they have the Brembos, but none of those are actually JCWs. They're all Cooper S's. Only one of the JCW racing team cars is actually a true JCW, and that's the number 37 car. It originally was a black JCW hardtop and was bought as a body shell from a salvage yard. So there's that. Anthony J. Medina Lopez, if you have to pick between a 2023 Countryman versus a 2024 Clubman, which would you choose and why? Wow. I like that question. Sean says Clubman. Mario says, hey, Mario. Mario says Clubman too. We're talking John Cooper Works. If we're talking John Cooper Works, they kind of are both comparable, but the Clubman, it's still going to be the Clubman all day long. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to say Clubman. It's always going to be the Clubman. JCW Clubman, 4.5 seconds 0 to 60 time, 301 horsepower, 331 torque. That is an incredible car. Even the Countryman, even the Cooper S or Clubman with the all-wheel drive is an incredible car. And the Clubman, if you got the Clubman S with front-wheel drive, it was always a fantastic vehicle. Front-wheel drive with manual, actually, was the only way you could get it. And Sean just sent me a message here. You should do a live stream with Dale. Coopercast podcast. Oh, I thought you were talking about my friend Dale. I have a friend named Dale. So I asked Zach this question a few years ago. Sean, you asked me that question a few years ago. Did I answer it a few years ago is the question. Yeah, I hope I did. So Sean said Clubman. Mario said Clubman. Sean says, the reason I had both the Countryman and it was a bit top heavy for me, but for room and daily driving, Countryman, both are S. Both are S. Okay, so both are S. Okay, so if we're gonna make it even more challenging, we're gonna go S. Okay, if both are S, we're gonna have to say Clubman still. As long as it's a Clubman, if we're talking like all fours, we're gonna still have to go with the Clubman because both of them have 189 horsepower. Both of them have a 205 pound-feet of torque, but the Clubman also has the weight advantage. It has less weight than the Countryman, so I would still have to say Clubman. Still Clubman. It's always going to be Clubman. So yeah. Sean's talking about this guy, Dale Blankenship. Why have I think I've talked to him before. Dale Blankenship. I think I've talked to him before. I think he's actually commented on some videos in the past. Actually, now that I think about it, might have to have a chat with him. That'd be kind of fun. I thought about seeing if I could find my way onto a podcast podcast of White Wolf Radio, but that's a bit of a challenge. Unless Gabe is watching, if he's not busy with what's his name, if he's not busy with Kirk Cousins, if he would possibly consider having me on his podcast sometime on White Wolf Radio. That'd be kind of fun. Ooh, I wouldn't mind it. Dale is huge in the community. Dale Blankenship. Why does that name ring a bell? I think I have talked to Dale in the past. I don't remember why. Dale Blankenship. Search. Pretty sure I have. And I think I'm going to lose. No. How do you like that? He and I are not friends on Facebook. Imagine that. Why is that? Well, there's a strong possibility. I'm going to try adding him as a friend, but there's a strong possibility that he and I might have butted heads a few times on Facebook regarding something related to Mini Cooper. So there is that possibility. So maybe that's why. But if Dale wanted to come on the Miniac and chat with me on Mini Coopers, I'd welcome it. I'd welcome anybody who wanted to come in and have a nice chat. Yeah, Braden says, I had a podcast for 400 episodes and have a YouTube set up. I'd chit chat with you on live sometime about Mini Cooper stuff. Braden, I'd bring you on right now if you wanted to chat with me on Mini Cooper stuff. You just have to message me on Instagram or something, and I could then send you the link. But if you wanted to come on and talk Mini Coopers, you would be more than welcome to. Especially considering we're now an hour in and we still got 10 people actually watching this thing, so that's kind of impressive. But I'm always checking things. You never know when something's going to pop up on my phone. Apparently it's raining outside too, so there's that. What else has been going on lately? Been upgrading my equipment, basically camera equipment, stuff like that. Been using DJI for my microphones lately, so there's that. So if you notice any audio quality improvements, it's because of these. So there's that. But like I said, sitting next to my husband, and he's got some zombie show or something on. So another time for sure. The zombie shows. I don't want to watch zombie shows. No, that's not fun. I don't like. Please tell me that's not hail. Oh, that could be bad. Hopefully that's not hail I'm hearing outside. I think it's just heavy rain. It makes recording audio very difficult when it's raining like that. So, but anyway, we've been on here for literally an hour, and I mean, I could keep talking, or I could let you all go and get back to your things. I might try to pop on and do another podcast or live stream at some point in the next couple of weeks. I still have videos I need to work on. And Nick just said he's not available either. He's going to bed. Wow, he seems old. 11:05 Eastern time, and he's going to bed. Braden, if you want to show me your ride, just send it over. Send it over to me. I'll take a look at it on Instagram. Sean Woods, okay, guys, got to be up at 5 a.m. Zach's, let's set up something and we can powwow. Sounds good, Sean. All right, well, I'm going to let you all go. It is 10:05 p.m. 10:05 p.m. my time. We old people, yeah, okay. I'm in my early 40s. I don't feel that old sometimes. Sometimes there's mornings I wake up where I feel like I'm 80. But anyway, speaking of that, I got a medication alarm. Okay, I got time for one more question here. Curious, ideally a 2010 JCW. On the tack to the right, there is a small light. What is it? On the tack to the right, there's a small light. What is it? Is it your low fuel warning light, maybe? 2010 Mini JCW tack shift light. Images. Let's see. Anyone else want to chime in and tell them what that light is? There's a to the right. That might be your I see what it is. I want to say it's like a low fuel warning light, actually. But I could be completely wrong on that, Mario. Sorry. Wish I knew. The last time I had a second gen Mini was spring 2020 when I traded it in for my 2017 Cooper S. So it's been a while. Otherwise, I'd know. But come to think that the only annoying thing I ever had with that car is the fact there's nothing in the manual. It's a small dot, never comes on. I don't know. You stumped me, Mario. Now I have to figure out what that is. I'm gonna have to run by Blue Label Racing maybe sometime this week and talk with Colin and Amir and see if one of them can tell me what that is, because I don't know. That's one I don't know. Nothing in the manual, according to Mario. All right, folks. Thought maybe a red line. It's a tack, so it could be a red line warning light. That's a possibility. Could be a red line warning light. I'll try to do another live stream maybe next week. Monday seems like a good night for a live stream, maybe. Maybe I'll do one next week. So we'll do this next week. And Mario, if you figure it out by then, let me know. If I figure it out by then, I'll make sure to include that in the live stream next week. So maybe we'll do that. But I'm going to let you all go because this is about the storm, and I'm concerned I'm going to lose my satellite or my internet connection. So I'll see you all next time. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more content on the channel. Check out more videos on the channel. Let me know if you have any ideas for future content, videos you'd like to see, preferably not a drag strip, preferably not a runaway drag race between all 4 or 5 generations of the Mini, because that would take forever to figure out and be incredibly expensive. And I'm not Top Gear, obviously, so I can't do that. But let me know what you come up with if you think of anything cool, or any other car you think would be fun to see a video on that I could scrounge up some footage and get a script together for. But until next time, thanks for watching. I will see you all later. Hopefully you're not dealing with a tornado watch and a thunderstorm right now. But if you are, stay safe inside where it's nice and quiet-ish. I'll see you all later.